Welcome to Stupid O'Clock. I'm Joe Dog. And starting off the show with an announcement, Evie Evelyn Rose Lord was born 10/14/2021 at 5:19 p.m., weighing 7 pounds 3 ounces, 19 inches long, and absolutely the most adorable baby I've ever seen. So let's go ahead and bring everybody else in. There's John.
Woo!
There's
Bob standing.
And there's Don Holyfield.
Hey, we're missing somebody.
Congratulations,
how holy is he?
Grandpa?
Yep. Yeah, I'm plugging away that my granddaughter is just the most gorgeous thing. Yeah. I don't have any pictures I can show just yet, but when I do, trust me, you guys are going to see a lot of them.
What's her name again?
Evelyn Rose.
Evelyn Rose.
Evie. They're calling her Evie.
And Dan Holyfield. Holyfield, that basically means he has gophers. And
it's Holyfield, not Holyfield. Yeah, people that mispronounce it that way, I always tell them, yes, I'm the white sheep of the family. Evander's not too proud of me.
Yeah. So what happened, Chris?
I don't know. I thought I had my camera back on, and it didn't.
These things happen.
It happens.
Performance issues.
Anyway.
I've been busy. It's been a long ass day.
Facebook user, you're going to have to go to the thing and let Facebook know you want to post on our thing.
It was me.
Oh, is that you?
Yep.
Oh, it was you?
So I put double.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I'm clear.
I would have written checkmate, except it comes up on every channel we broadcast on is somebody made a comment. So I've learned not to do that.
Hey, Chris.
The comment
yes,
box.
Sir.
Look down.
Sorry,
does him a lot of good now.
Get permission.
Take over, Chris. Take over. Hurry.
Too late. Okay.
Sorry.
StreamYard.com/Facebook. Okay.
Yep. And welcome to everybody that's tuned in. We've already got some thumbs and some hearts.
Do we?
Thank you, John, for the heart, and
you're welcome. I love you, man.
Bill for the thumb. As long as the thumb's not on the nose and the fingers waving, we're in good shape.
You'd be surprised.
See?
How often
we
that
got a pretty
happens.
good crowd in here. Oh, good grief. Look at all the people tuned in on HallowCon on the Twitch channel.
Really?
It must be Chris's fan club.
Probably.
Yep. Gotta be.
I'm
Keep
busy
in mind. Yeah, don't tell us their names.
I had a funeral to start out the day again with, so hopefully I'm done with that for a while.
Hey, Ace.
Ace.
The Ace. Ace Abani. How you doing, sir? How the heck are you?
pleasure to have him. Oh, yep. I had to duck out of Jody McPhee's show to be backstage in time. And Joe's good with that. He doesn't mind. And he does give us advertisement during his show. So
Okay, cool.
Good.
yeah.
He's a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he's
I like it
Yeah.
when he joins in.
Yeah, and
yeah, I
his
do too.
Yeah, his YouTube page is From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher.
Does he broadcast on Facebook too, or is it just YouTube?
I
Probably?
think he's just a YouTube only.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure.
I'll ask him
Oh, and
next time I
Keisha's
see him.
interview actually did happen today after one false start.
Mm.
She was having technical difficulties and couldn't connect, and then about a half an hour later, boom, there it was. But I could only get to it on my iPad because I couldn't find it on the desktop on any link whatsoever. But there was one that just popped up right in front of me in the middle of the broadcast, so I went for it on the iPad, and she does really well when she gets over her stage fright.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
Keisha, hello.
Keisha.
I was just singing your
And-
praises, my dear.
And we didn't even look in a mirror and say your name 3 times.
yep. Oh,
Oh,
Well, I will have to watch the rerun of that. And Keisha, don't feel bad, because when Ryan was interviewing me back in July, we had about 3 false starts on it, and we were just recording it. Thank God it wasn't live.
how can I have a bad signal?
It's that crappy Chattanooga internet, you know.
I just got a notification I had a bad internet connection. I'm going, huh?
If it's bad, it needs to be punished. Don't feel bad, because
Whoa, that was delayed.
yeah.
Keisha, what was said? I said that I finally found a live link to your interview after your technical difficulties earlier, and you just once you get over your stage fright, you really go gangbusters, girl. You showed that guy. It was a lot of fun. Especially when you talked about how many animals you have on the farm. He just looked like somebody hit him upside the head with a brick.
Keisha Acuff had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O.
Oh.
Oh, you're welcome, Ace. I did a blip. Oh,
Sounds
No,
like
poor
it.
Ryan was not expecting you. Like the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects Keisha.
nobody expects Keisha Acuff.
Makes it more fun.
It's just so charming to see her just sit there and matter of factly reel off stuff, and he's just going, "How am I supposed to answer this?" That deer in the headlights look.
If nobody has ever raised any animals or been around a farm, they are in for a shock.
Oh, Lord.
And also, if you buy a home next to a farm, expect to smell poop.
And if you look out your
So
windows,
you've driven by my
you
house,
might see
have you,
the
Joe?
animal version of Playboy magazine online there. Because animals don't really care if somebody's watching them.
Yeah.
Nope.
Everything that direction from my house, literally 100 feet that direction, is farm, all the way up to the state park. So,
Well, John,
Now we know why your telescope's pointed that way.
You could combat that with fire for fire. Bring Joe Dog over and let him retaliate.
It is kind of fun though. If I drive down to Dollar General store, I drive by even more farm, and boy, that's like, let's just say it's aromatic and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Extra smell of money you smell there, son.
Was that what that is?
Y'all
I
may
thought
be,
it was cow flop.
y'all may be lucky. Around here, the going concern is chicken houses.
We have
Oh,
a few of
yeah.
those down
There
there.
are thousands of them.
Yeah, they are fragrant.
Yes.
I gave my wife a COVID test today while we were out.
Oh, I see where this is going already.
Yeah, she was rolling down the window and going, "Dear God, I can taste it."
Well, on the bright side, she doesn't have COVID.
Yeah.
That was one of them Dairy Queen chili dogs, wasn't it?
No. And then she allowed us to stop and get crystals.
She's a glutton for punishment.
Really?
Wow.
Either that or you need to have her meds changed again.
No kidding.
Wow.
Only 70, Keisha?
Well,
What?
she's talking about the total.
That's not a
there.
lot if you like chicken.
Yeah.
Well, it's chickens and rabbits.
That's like a
and
2.5 month supply.
Or are they fryers? Or
She's
are
a
they,
she's a vegan. Don't talk to her about eating her animals. Most she does is eggs, and then probably for the other people in her family and not her.
My next door neighbor was he was a chef, and he works in town for one of the guy he works for is like a multi-millionaire, and he was his personal chef. And
Oh, great! Now there's two of them.
Cue up Double Vision by Foreigner, Dan.
No, this is going to be stereo. I'm just glad we're not in smell-o-vision.
Thank God.
Do you smell popcorn?
Yeah. God.
Yes, I am evil, but I have so much fun at it.
I like being the center square.
Mm-hmm.
Because it
Speaking
reminds
of
me of
that-
Paul Lynn. Okay.
You should have been in the green room last night. It got crowded.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we had more people than we had a screen to put them on.
My neighbor Chris, the cook, he was getting ready to move, so he was getting rid of his chickens and chicken coop. Some farmer came in to haul all that stuff off. The farmer was sitting there loading up his truck and everything, looks over in our yard, sees that pig, and goes, "Y'all want to sell that pig?"
Mhm.
No. I'm like, "No, how else am I going to get rid of bodies?" We didn't have much of a conversation after that.
Said, I'm
Yeah,
too
speaking
lazy.
of Paul Lynn,
That one never came up on the secret square, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I posted the 1976 Paul Lynn Halloween special.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't get a chance to
That's
click on the link because it
the
was
one
that
close
had
to
this in it.
showtime, but
It's on. You can watch it anytime you want. It's obviously they don't do Facebook watches anymore. But
Hey, Keisha, the pig does a better job than my chainsaw.
yeah, they had. Of course, everybody knows Kiss was on there. Sang 3 songs.
yeah.
Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, and then Peter Criss came out and sang Beth, which was the big hit.
Somehow I knew that one was going to be on there. Yes, it
Oh
is.
yeah, October of '76. You better believe it.
Yep.
And they had Margaret Hamilton and Billy Barty from Wizard of Oz.
Mhm.
And Margaret she started out as Paul Lynn's maid, but she did put the makeup and that on.
Oh, that must be adorable.
They had Witchy Poo from H.R. Puff and stuff. Billy, I can't think of her last name now.
Damn. She was in another one too. Isn't
Yeah. Oh,
she?
yeah. She was in the one with Butch Patrick on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, Lidsville.
Lidsville. Yes.
Okay.
And then they had Florence Henderson, Betty White, Tim Conway,
Oh, an all-star cast.
and Roz Pinky Tuscadero, whatever her last name is. She was on there. And then surprise guests were Donnie and Marie.
Billy Hayes.
Billy Hayes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could not remember that.
My mind kept going Billy Piper. I know
No.
I know that's wrong. So
Ace, don't give Joe ideas.
then again, that would have been a really great show.
It was very it was a 50-minute long special, and just from all the people that were in it, and then the skits that they did. Paul Lynde, of course, was at his finest. He was talking about, I didn't think about doing Halloween this year for the trick-or-treaters, but the first one that come to my door, I was going to give them something, and the doorbell rang. I opened the door, and it was the Avon lady. So I gave her a couple of ding-dongs, and she turned around and she soaped my windows with her Avon soap on the rope. And it was just all kinds of jokes like that all night.
Oh, good night, Keisha. Sleep well.
Good night. Well, she gets up with the chickens,
I know, and she is one classy lady, I tell you.
No wonder y'all couldn't hear me.
Oh, you were muted?
Yeah, I think John muted me.
No, you muted you bonehead.
And
Now-
John didn't want to interfere with the guy that runs the show.
When Peter Criss came out, is that the one where he sat down on the steps?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, actually, he was sitting at the piano.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The one I've seen is he comes out and he sort of sits on the steps and leans over.
That might have been the midnight special.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, he sits at the piano, and then you see Gene, Ace, and Paul just kind of standing behind him like, oh crap, now he gets the spotlight. And they didn't even have their guitars or anything on. They just was kind of standing there.
Yeah, and Gene's
Which I thought was
counting $100 bills. Like, no, this is so
What are we
boring.
supposed to
And
do?
Pinky Tuscadero was Roz Kelly.
Kelly, that's right. Yeah.
Now, if you remember Happy Days, Pinky Tuscadero had a little sister. Leather Tuscadero.
Leather. Yep. Susie Quattro.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you. I was just about to ask if anybody remembered who that was.
See?
Oh yeah.
Be still my beating heart.
Yeah.
They were kind of reaching for that those days, but and I think they were just building up her career. Because her main thing, I think the episode I remember her the best from Happy Days was when Richie and Lori Beth went to ride on Richie's new motorcycle, and they got into an accident, and he ended up in the hospital almost dying, and they're all waiting at the Cunningham's house. And it's a very somber moment, and then not knowing what's going to happen with Richie, and then Leather just kind of walks over to the piano and she starts playing some real sad song.
Leather Tuscadero was played by Susie Quattro, but you know what the last acting credit she's got on IMDb is?
What?
Midsummer Murders.
Oh, wow.
Dan knows about that.
Yep, sure do. That's one of the things that my wife watches on her baby's or
BritBox.
What is BritBox? Thank you. The name was escaping me.
Bill, that was a season finale.
Yeah,
it was a cliffhanger. Yeah, wasn't it?
Because Ron Cunningham or Ron
Ron
Howard
Howard.
was about to leave the show.
Yeah.
He left the show the next year.
Him and Donnie Most both.
Yeah.
Mm.
That must have been the season where they jumped the shark.
And then they went to what was it? Joni Loves Chachi,
Yeah.
and
It didn't make it 5 episodes.
Yeah.
and then she started working for Roger Corman, and died horribly. And
Most people that work for Roger Corman do, but they come back for the next movie.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to jump out. I've got to get the badge labels printed. I've been fighting this thing all day.
Well, I hope you've got it lined out now.
I'm going to try again. Now that I've got the proper program.
Hey, once it works, you should just be able to hit print and step back.
Yeah. And if I do that, I'll be back.
okay,
wow.
I'm putting Dan in charge.
Excuse me.
Dang.
That jumped out a little more than I wanted it to.
That wasn't
Yeah.
popcorn.
No wonder your computer don't work.
Project from your diaphragm, young man.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Cheated my ass out of a damn good fart, that's for sure.
In some countries, that belch means that you appreciated the food that you just ate.
Yep.
Middle East.
In
In
other
other
countries,
It indicates that you're an uncultured barbarian.
yeah.
Guess
Thank
what
you, Dan.
country you're in, Joe?
In the Middle East, it's a compliment.
Yeah. All right, guys, y'all behave. I'll be back in a little bit.
Ain't gonna do it.
Oh, good God.
He's going to regret saying that.
Okay, here's a little bit of trivia. Did you know that Susie Quattro has a brother named Michael who is a fantastic keyboard player who has his own albums out?
Oh,
Yeah, you should look it up. You should look it up. I found that out by accident back in the day when I was buying random cutout bin albums, which does not really give him the kind of credit. But this is stuff that record stores that were used to selling Kiss and AC/DC couldn't find a market for.
Mm-hmm.
And put back for reduced prices. And I would go through those reduced price bins and snap up about $100 worth of albums a week at 50 cents each. Let you know how big my record collection got.
Yeah.
I went into Barnes and Noble today, and I couldn't believe how big their vinyl section is.
Yeah.
It's like I felt like I was going back into a record store back in the late 70s, early 80s.
You thought you just stepped into a Turtles store.
They had more vinyl records there than they did CDs. I kid you not.
You only have to worry if they wind up with a big old shelf of 8 tracks.
Oh, yeah. Believe it or not, those are collectible too.
Oh, I know.
Why, I don't know, but
because they're obsolete, just like any other collectible.
Well,
Yeah.
then ought to be in good shape.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Tape deteriorates over time, whether it gets played or not. Cassettes,
right.
8-track, reel to reel, it doesn't matter. The oxidation gets even further oxidized from the air. It doesn't matter if it gets played or not.
The one thing that CDs have over any other form of recording media, CDs technically will not deteriorate over time.
Yes,
As long as they're not
As
exposed
long as you don't scratch them or anything like that,
or expose them to sunlight.
or expose them to sunlight. It's the first media humans have created that could potentially last until the plastic oxidizes or whatever. So
You've never heard of hieroglyphics?
We're talking about
There's
live media.
stone carvings that are real. Well, if you knew how to play them,
I was reading something one day. Matter of fact,
I'll be right back.
where I was reading it was a book by L. Sprague de Camp called The Ancient Engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's for all you sci-fi geeks, know what I'm talking about. But they said that Iraq and the Mesopotamian empires at the time had these incredible structures and history, but the only reason that they're not remembered the way the Egyptians were is the Egyptians had good stone, and the Iraqi Mesopotamians, whatever was in that area at the time, did not have good stone, and their stone wore away over 5,000 years.
They probably had limestone instead of granite or the more substantial stone that Egypt had.
Right.
Yeah, they had those there at Barnes & Noble too.
I'm surprised Barnes & Noble's open because the last few times I went to Chattanooga, they've been closed and wouldn't let anybody in.
Really?
Wow. The one in Champaign that I went to, jam-packed full of people.
Well,
And people, families with kids and everything. It's amazing.
You know, you're talking about vinyl records. And I was reading an article the other day about how in the Soviet Union, they wouldn't let kids import records from outside the country.
of course.
So you couldn't get any of these records in Soviet Union, Russia especially.
Yep.
And these kids would find copies of it, take it back to the Soviet Union. It just so happens they had machines that would create record albums, but the state controlled the actual platters,
Yeah.
the vinyl part.
Yeah.
So you couldn't press the vinyl record, but you could etch it with the etching machine if you had the platters.
Yeah.
So somebody got the bright idea. They went to the hospitals, got in the dumpsters, and started digging out all the old x-rays, which are on a fairly thick sheet of vinyl, basically. And would take them and cut them out and make record albums out of people's old x-rays that they had found in the dumpster at the hospital, and record like just whatever recordings that they could sneak into the country, would start recording these albums and share it and trade it with all these other kids and stuff like that. Now, here's the funny part. Those homemade bootlegs are worth money now.
Oh, I bet.
If you can get hold of them. Apparently, something that people were making and like trading for just pennies, you know, are worth $500 now.
Wow. That's a small fortune in Russia.
No kidding. Well, not today. Russia's got an economy similar to the United States now, so it's not that big a deal.
Mr. Alexovich, I'm sorry to say that you have cancer and 6 months to live. But
you made a
it
really
has a
great
good beat.
Metallica album. Okay. And
it's not flipped backwards like it was. Yay!
Hey, I can actually read
Oh,
it.
your shirt. Let's see here.
Of
Oh,
technology.
mine's not either. How about that?
Let's see.
Oh,
Testing.
yeah.
1, 2, 3. Yep, everything shows up right. I'll be darned.
Yep. It shows up backwards on the green room, let me tell you that.
I got Panama Jack. So there.
I used to love my Panama Jack clothing. I've worn the heck out of it.
Panama
all of it,
Jack.
though.
Now I'm going to have
Oh.
that song in my head the rest of the night.
I
Yeah.
used to have a Panama Jack straw hat with the seashell hat brim on, or the ribbon, whatever you call it, and I wore that thing every time I got out on the riding lawnmower, and I finally wore it out running underneath the oak tree out front. It got holes in the crown and everything. I hated getting rid of that straw hat because it served me so well.
I used to have this really nice Panama Jack long sleeve tee, jersey tee kind of thing. And I wore it until the sleeves started coming off that thing. and then tore the sleeves off and kept wearing it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
as you do.
As you do.
Did anybody see the link that I posted in the Stupid O'Clock group for the Batman trailer?
Oh, yes, I did.
The one that just dropped.
Yep,
I saw it,
I
but
saw it, but I didn't have time to click on it.
there was so much spam in that link that I couldn't see it.
I posted.
It better not be, because that come directly from DC Online.
It might not have been yours. It might have been another group.
I posted.
But
I posted the
I
Patriot.
couldn't see it.
John Cena is getting his own DC series. It's going to be like an 8-shot series. Okay. And then I posted the one. What was the other one I posted? Was the Flash. Apparently, the Flash is kind of cool because it's a lead-in to the next Justice League movie.
Oh, okay, the movie. Okay, yeah.
That's the one that Batman's going to be in.
I love it. It shows, and there's this hint. He sneaks into the Bat Cave. Okay. And it shows him he's sitting there, and there's the cover, and it's the Batmobile. And he goes over and he grabs the cover and he goes pull it. About then they fade to black as he's pulling the cover off the Batmobile, so you don't get to see the Batmobile, but you hear, "Oh my God!"
Well, in this new Batman trailer, you get to see the Batmobile in action, a lot more than what you did in the first one. You get to see him go up against crime boss that sounds and looks so much like Tony Soprano. It's great. It's wonderful. You get to see Catwoman in and out of her costume.
Now, is that Zoe? Is that Zoe Kravitz is playing?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And I now in the trailer, I guess unless you freeze frame it, it's really hard to see the mask that she has. It's not a typical Catwoman mask. It basically looks like a ninja mask where her eyes and all this is open, but it has the cat ears on it. And then the rest of the costume looks like the Michelle Pfeiffer one, but not as shiny. And then you get to see the Riddler in there.
Isn't he supposed to be the main villain?
Yes. Yeah, GCPD was doing a beat down on him, and there's a little cup of coffee that's got a little red flashing light under the saucer, and you know there's a bomb there. And then it raises up and you see the cream, or it kind of looks like latte, and it's got the little question mark in it. And there are a lot of fight scenes in this trailer that really, really show off Pattinson, and it's going to look good next March. I can't wait to go see it. I really can't. Oh, you get to see You get to see Bat Cycle. Or no, I take it back. I saw the toys that are out for.
Is it the Bat Cycle or the Cat Cycle?
No, this is a Bat Cycle. Kind of reminiscent to the previous movie Bat Cycle.
Did you see the video game thing I posted about Suicide Squad kills the Justice League?
I saw the link. I didn't click on it.
If you get a chance, watch. It's a trailer for the video game, but if you get a chance, watch it, because the last scene where they're talking about the Penguin is hilarious.
Okay.
Okay.
I posted a link about the time that Big Van Vader was on Boy Meets World.
Oh, yeah.
He was actually on for 3 episodes.
Well, I found something while I was cleaning up a shelf that had nearly collapsed near my desk. So,
oh,
this is one of the original movie tie-in things.
Team Bonsai.
Mm-hmm.
Buckaroo Bonsai.
Yep. This
okay.
is from before the movie actually came out. So
Wow.
Okay. How many of you are familiar with the Sandman series? The comic book series.
The Neil Gaiman stuff? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Netflix is going to be doing a Sandman series.
Oh, that
Okay.
people have been wanting that for decades.
Yeah. Now here's the interesting part. Lucifer is going to be played by Gwendolyn Christie, who played Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones.
And Captain Phasma and the latest Star Wars trilogy.
Right. But I'm looking at some of the I'm gonna post that link on Stupid O'Clock here real quick. I'm looking at some of the artwork for it. It looks good.
She is a very tall woman.
She is, and gorgeous. It's kind of funny. Every role she's ever in, they either dumb her down because she's a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
They either dumb her down or put a mask on her face.
Or they de-emphasize her looks in some
Yes.
way. She's also a good person because she had frequented a restaurant one afternoon, and apparently she left a rather large tip, and the gal that was waiting on her went back to her and says, I think you left too much money. And she's like, no. She says, I used to be a waitress and work in this industry. I know how hard it is. You've earned it. Keep it.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see her.
It's nice when people actually pay respects to someone because of the hard work they're doing.
Well, not only that, those that don't forget where they came from.
That's another good point. Yes, indeed.
Hey, who is this person?
Prepare the hammer.
Human Intelligence Hub.
Says he's from Miami. I don't know who it is. I was hoping somebody else did.
Nope.
But that's
Never
what
seen that before.
Usually is human intelligence.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Miami here.
Not doing anything yet.
Hey. The fly swatter is out and ready.
Yeah.
Y'all are so paranoid.
Not paranoid, experienced.
He just came across the slide. Hi. We have had some troll issues lately. Sorry, we didn't mean to insult you or anything like that.
Yeah.
We just got to make sure that everybody behaves.
Yes.
Or they get sent to the forbidden zone.
The nice thing about all those trolls, they end
up looking like this. Oh.
The nice thing about all the trolls we've been getting, at least it's hits on our Facebook account. So.
Yes.
This is true. This is true.
So how is it in Miami?
Yeah, what's it like in Miami right now?
Don't they, let's see, is Pamela going to hit Miami? Hurricane Pamela? Or did that already go by? I know it hit when we need Josh, he's not here. We need the United Weather Network.
Kimberly's
I know it went aground in Mexico a couple of days ago. And they said it was going to go inland, and they thought it was going to weaken a little bit, but I didn't hear much.
Stephanie, I think, posted that it was going to go up through Texas and towards Chicago and bypass the South entirely. But
I used to live long time ago when I was in third grade. I lived in Orlando, Florida for a while, and this gives you an idea of how long ago I've been to Miami. Okay. We went down to see the Goodyear Blimp at the Goodyear Blimp facility, which is out east of Miami back in the day.
Wait a minute. I thought east of Miami was out over the ocean.
That's where the blimp thing was.
Okay.
There used to be an island just east of Miami. It's a cruise ship port now, but back in those days, it was there was a blimp port. I don't know what you call it, airship port, I guess you call it. See, he's 38. I'm 55. So when I was a little bitty kid, we went out to the blimp port and saw the Goodyear blimp take off. Kind of cool.
Yeah,
apparently, it was one of the ones that it had gotten caught in a storm and it tore the blimp up. And they went and refurbished it, and it was one of the first Goodyear blimps that had the animated lights down the side.
Oh.
So,
One of
Opa-laka.
the,
There's some island, I can't remember what it's called, and it's right.
you talking about Key Biscayne? Because it's nearby.
It's the Goodyear Blimp Island. That's how I remember.
Key Largo.
That's
Oh, that's further south.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's where Bernie Higgins lives.
Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can find it on. It's still there. It's just where Carnival Cruise Line has all the cruise ships now, or something like that. One of them.
I think the blimps were a better use of the territory.
What was it called?
There's a lot of people that enjoy cruises.
Yeah,
Dodge Island. Is that
a lot of people would enjoy airship cruises.
Okay, whoever said Key
Never
Biscayne was
caught
not too
fire.
far off. There is Biscayne Island out there.
It was me. I knew it was close by. I didn't know if that was it or not.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm just trying to remember where the blimp port was, because now it's all Carnival Cruise. I think that's all overgrown or something.
well,
He mentioned Richmond Air Base.
I've been told that the Disney cruise is the best one out there. I guess they really put on a good show. They treat everybody on the ship wonderfully. And if you work it in with a trip to Land or World, and do
Jungle Island was the one
Jungle
that had the
Island.
blimp port.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's all gone now, I believe. I don't think they still do blimps out there. So
I've heard Disney is better for families if you have young kids. If you're older,
Well, you go to Disney World first, and you do all that. And when you're coming back from that, you're just so out of it. That's a really good time to hop on board and enjoy what they have, because it's a little bit more laid back, obviously.
I always
Trotting
thought
around.
the ultimate Disney vacation. You go to Orlando, go to Disney World for a week, whatever. All right. Jump on the Amtrak train that goes from Orlando out to Los Angeles. And you take that trip out to Los Angeles, go to Disney World for a week.
Yeah,
Disneyland's out there.
Land.
Disneyland.
From world to land.
From world to land. Jump on the train again, go back to Orlando, and then jump on the big red boat.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for us non-billionaires,
I figured you could do that for $10,000.
like I said,
and not have a vacation for the next 5 years or more.
There'll be no HallowCon if you do
I
that.
look at this. I was in the military at the time, okay? You spend a year in Iraq, you come home, you got $20,000. Okay.
so you either buy a car or go on vacation.
Or you put
A used car.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, a used
$20,000.
car, yeah.
Or you
Or
could
you
start
stay
buying,
in
or you
the
could
house.
start buying a new car. So
Yeah.
Just wait for the chips.
Oh,
that's something I want to do soon, but I want to wait until they're actually like they're getting ready to launch the Orions to do the moon landings and such.
That would be fun.
And what's
actually,
cool about what I found out today is the European Space Agency sent their part of the Orion module to Cape Canaveral, and there are now currently 3 Orion rockets in various stages of assembly at Cape Canaveral.
I was in Daytona one summer,
So we're gonna get to see a moon.
And,
We're gonna get to see a moon landing here pretty soon.
and NASA launched something from the Cape, and you could see it from Daytona.
Yep.
I was out on the beach and looked up, and there it went.
Yep.
I mean, that was the first live launch I have ever seen. I've seen decades worth of televised launches, but with my own eyes, that was the first one I'd ever seen.
When we were living in Orlando, we weren't actually in Orlando. We were in a little part of a suburb of Orlando that's in the northeast corner of Orlando. I went to Redbug Elementary School, and they actually would take us out to the playground to watch the launches if it just so happens that there was a rocket launching during the school hours. So we'd all go, and you just barely see it.
Oh, now this is nice. 6 miles from a shuttle mission going up at night, Columbia. All right. That must have been impressive as all get out. Yeah.
My dad was working with Rockwell International at the time when they were building a lot of stuff for the space shuttle. And I actually got to see one of the Enterprise landings.
Whoa.
At night with the spotlights.
Yeah, me and Dan know several rocket scientists, and one of them that was actually on the console for shuttle missions.
I do believe John knows them both.
Well, yeah, John does too, but I know for a fact that you and me,
Oh,
I don't know if he knows Kevin or Travis, but I know he knows Stephanie.
I have that problem of going to sci-fi conventions where I have an entirely different set of friends depending on how much I've been drinking. When I'm sober, I have the one set of friends. When I've been drinking a little bit, I have another set of friends. And then I have another set of friends that I cannot remember unless I am completely blitzed.
You're talking about the Friday afternoon friends, the Friday night friends, and the Saturday friends.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Indeed. Well, we all have that problem to a greater or lesser degree, believe me.
Oh, and I forgot Les.
Yeah. Oh, and his solar sail mission is actually a go. They're going to launch that bugger and test it out.
Awesome.
Yeah, I am so excited for him.
Is it Fritz that works down at
Fritz is in Alabama near.
He lives in
Knoxville.
Hazelgreen.
Works at Redstone doing something. I can't remember.
He's a graphic artist and does other things we probably are not allowed to know about. So
what's the rocket company?
Kevin probably does it because he's the one that used to brew his own beer.
The rocket company does the Patriot missiles.
You know better than us.
Raytheon? General
Thank
Dynamics?
you. Raytheon. Okay. Because they used to have Raytheon actually did some production here in Chattanooga during the Gulf, right after the Gulf War. When they shot all those Patriot missiles and had to build new ones, and they actually put an assembly line out here at the TNT plant, building parts. So.
One of these days, I want to write a book good enough to be worthy of one of Fritz's covers.
Yeah, it was probably Kevin or Travis.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know Doc Travis, he's a very interesting guy. Let me tell you. You get a bunch of rocket scientists in a room together and try and follow the few words that they say in English, and you're still going to have a good time because they're just so awesome.
Yeah, for those watching, if you don't know Travis, he was on the show Rocket City Rednecks.
That were his show.
And he was also, I believe, on Three Scientists Walk Into a Bar or something of that nature on the Weather Channel as well.
Mm-hmm. And they did a demonstration of how maneuvering thrusters work on one of the late night TV shows, but I can't remember which one. And it was a hoot because they were using fire extinguishers and these really well balanced chairs with rollers.
I'm thinking it was Letterman before he retired, but I'm not positive.
I could, yeah. It was either Letterman or Leno.
Probably Letterman,
but I can't remember.
Because Travis would get along with Letterman probably better than he would Leno. Not that he wouldn't get along with Leno, but I just see him and Letterman hitting it off.
Travis can get along with anybody. It just depends on whether or not he wants to ignore any disagreements they might have on immaterial matters.
Yes.
Real world stuff. And here he's going to look at me and go, "Hey, rocketry is real world stuff." And I'm going, "Oh, I meant, the things that have been dividing our country for a while here."
Yeah, rockets are cool, and they're still developing new ways to use them.
Oops.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Off the rail. Well,
we don't discuss politics on this show.
Except accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get back on track and go off to other areas.
How about that Babylonian Tupperware? Hard to
love
break,
it,
but it keeps things forever.
Yep. It's fine. Everybody deserves a warning.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. At least you're not demanding a link to get on screen so you can scream about whatever it is that
needs to be screamed about.
We have had people that were really upset because we wouldn't give them a platform to shout about their own
viewpoints.
Well, I was going to say very strongly held beliefs.
Yes.
That are not germane to science fiction or fandom or conventions or stuff like that. We can't post rules. We make them up as we go. No, we don't make them up as we go along. It's just one of those things that we have a gentleman's agreement about.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was the ladies that came up with it, so don't tell me anything about gentleman's agreement being sexist.
If you see any links on any other social media, Facebook's the one I'm thinking mainly of. It's basically described as a discussion that you would have at a science fiction or fandom convention after the main programming's done. You're just hanging out in the lobby or outside rooms, just talking, and it can be anything and everything.
Very
free form.
If you've ever been to a sci-fi convention or fantasy convention, any of the fandoms, after the main programming ends, you still got a bunch of people just sitting around in the lobbies and bars and room parties and stuff like this, just shooting the breeze, talking about whatever. And that's when this show got started, when COVID started picking up and all the conventions basically got canceled. Okay. So nobody was going to sci-fi conventions. So this got started just for all the people that couldn't go to the sci-fi conventions to get together and just talk whatever.
Yeah, we missed
hang
all
out.
our friends and the kind of conversations that we had at cons, which are they're totally random and they can go off in any direction whatsoever. It's kind of like a bottle rocket somebody dropped on the ground instead of the fuse was lit. We didn't know which way it was going to go, but it's going to explode later. So, whee! That's pretty much this show and the next one as well.
It's kind of fun though. You go to the sci-fi conventions, all the programming ends, and you're hanging out with just some of your friends and a lot of the guests from the sci-fi convention. So you could be talking with John Ringo or,
or Doc Travis or Stephanie Osborne or,
Stephanie Osborne. One of my favorite ones was, L. Sprague de Camp and his wife Catherine were at one of our conventions. I love talking with them. Then Wilson Bob Tucker. I love hanging out with him at all the conventions. And then met John Stakely, met I'm so terrible with names. Timothy Zahn.
Yep. Isn't he the one that does pancakes?
Sometimes.
Okay, I thought that was right.
I thought that was Todd McCaffrey that made the crepes.
Well, I was trying to figure out which of the two it was.
Yeah.
Ringo makes pancakes too. So
yeah. Which there's usually only one that they do that for, but that's a different breed of convention.
I think one of my favorite convention guests I ever got to hang out with was Dr. Timothy Leary.
Oh wow!
That's a room party. I haven't actually forgotten it,
but
I do have flashbacks of it every so often.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh heavens, that's impressive. No, let's see. I've got to hang out with Larry Neville.
Hey, there's that author Dan Hollyfield we all got to hang out with.
Yeah, but you hang out with me all the time. I'm just this guy.
Award-winning author Dan Hollyfield. Okay.
I've been nominated. I've never won anything. Thank you.
And principal editor of Apelian
Webzine.
I started to say fanzine, but I'm like, no, it's not the right word.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Everybody.
Yes. How would you describe that, Dan?
What, Apelian?
Yes.
It's a permanent floating writers workshop. Basically, it's people that are writers send us their stuff and we
trash it mercilessly.
No, we give them an honest opinion and critique and give them a market to get feedback from the readers as to what worked and didn't work in a story, and help them learn the all the high points and the low points of getting ready to send their stuff off to the pro publishers, or what they might do with the independent market now that that's a big thing, because back when we started there wasn't any indie market. It was all pro publishers.
Yeah.
So.
And no, I have not seen that one, but I did watch his interview with David Lee Roth, which that was pretty interesting because that was before Eddie Van Halen passed away, and I think he knew what was going on, but as a courtesy and probably under agreement with Eddie, that he did not divulge that information in his interview with Joe.
I have seen other things with Bob Lazar, and I wish he wrote science fiction. I really do.
He might have. We don't know. Okay,
no, that's my point. Actually, I wish he would just go ahead and write science fiction. Because
See, that
as
was
entertaining as it is, he would
okay.
probably sell a lot.
The Bob Lazar interview you were talking about, is that the one from back in 2004? Let's see, where he was talking about the USS Nimitz UFO incident. So,
Oh, wrong keyboard.
It's more recent than that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there's something.
Okay. John Lear, is that the Learjet guy? It's been so long since I've heard of anybody doing anything under the name Lear. I mean, Learjets did really, really good car stereos by being totally ignorant of what was supposedly things you could not do, and he did them anyway, and the stereos worked. So,
That's Bill Lear.
Bill Lear. Okay, thank you. Okay. Funny you should mention those. I'm still working on the book.
Bill Lear founded the Learjet Corporation. He's also one of the guys that invented the 8-track tape.
Yeah, like I told you. Didn't know it couldn't be done, so he did it.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask you, what about unopened 8-tracks? Would they last?
If they've
No.
got any access to the
magnetic media degrades over time. It doesn't matter if you open it or not.
Yeah,
Yep.
Cellophane is not going to protect it.
Nope.
I was just curious.
We were talking about this earlier. Cassette tapes degrade over time, whether you play them or not. 8-tracks, same way.
Yeah.
Reel-to-reel tapes, same way. Anything like that. And it's not really as much. Well, it can be magnetism, but oxidization from
the magnetic media oxidizes just like iron would. So,
So the thing that is holding the magnetic charge that actually gives the player the signal to play degrades just from existing. Which is why CDs are, there was a rumor going around that CDs would only last about 2 years before air got inside the plastic and degraded the recording. I'm going, wait a minute, you're talking about an optical pattern laser etched into aluminum.
I heard after 20 years there starts to be some degradation, but that was 20 years ago, and I still have some CDs that still sound great.
I remember buying a split ends vinyl album that had laser etching in it. You had to hold it up to the light a certain way to see the design in it. And this would have been like 1978, 79.
But that was decorative. That didn't have anything to do
with
the sound.
No.
It's not like the Monty Python album that has 3 sides.
Yeah.
You've heard of that?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't, there is one Monty Python vinyl album. It has a side 1, a side 2, and a side 3. One of the sides has a second groove that you can drop the needle into and get an entirely new side in between the grooves of the other side. And that was so weird back in the 70s, let me tell you.
My friend had that, and he wanted me to listen to something on his Monty Python album that he just thought was hilarious. And he kept trying to
He couldn't
bring
find the
it
right,
up, and he couldn't find it.
he couldn't find the right groove because they're so close together.
Yeah.
It's like random access. You never knew when the needle was going to drop right in there, or if it was going to play the one standard one that started
Well,
earliest on the disc.
I want to briefly do a 90-degree turn in the conversation here and go back. Take yourself back to a time. Remember when we were talking? Yeah. Remember when we were talking the other night about radios, and I was talking about the radios that on the back of the comic books, they would have these ads for these things. I think it was I'm almost wanting to say JSA Club of America or something like that, not to be confused with the Justice League Society.
Yeah.
But anyway, you sold things, and the more you sold, you can buy little toys or buy a Schwinn high-rise bicycle or a pup tent or this or that. And I talked about the different transistor radios they had, and that I had earned enough points, more or less. I know that's not the right term, but that's the one I'll use now, that I bought a Snoopy radio out of the deal. And it was just the little
I had one of those.
transistor radio. Well, I still do.
Oh, now the one I had was Snoopy on the Doghouse.
Yeah, this is the one from I don't know if it'll say it on here or not. I have to get my spectacles out and look at it, but it became available in the early mid 70s. And that, but I got, let's see here, 1974 on this one, Determined Productions Incorporated, San Francisco, California. And now I haven't had this on for a while, and I think I still have a 9-volt battery. And I don't know if you can, and I'm sure there's a short in there somewhere.
Either that or the battery burst over time.
Yeah, it's in the volume control. There's a little.
Okay.
But I'm so far out here in Cornfield County that to pick up a AM station out here is few and far between.
You know,
But
Technically,
it does work.
AM stations around here anymore.
Oh yeah, actually, I listen to WBBM out of Chicago, AM 780, which it's all news, and I hear stuff on there before I do most places, ironically enough, and that's where I first heard the William Shatner George Takei fight. Because of Takei's comments, which I've seen more stuff about that. I think the media in general is really trying to pump that up to get them to say more things.
Yep.
Back and forth.
Hi, Carrie.
Hey, how are you doing, Carrie?
Hi, Carrie.
Yeah. I remember back in college when I only had an AM radio because my car was too old for an FM. One of the radio stations went through this thing where they were going, "Oh, did you know there's a switch on the back of your AM radio where you can switch it to full color AM?" And they're telling people to reach up under the dashboard and feel around for the wires so you could find a switch. And I'm just thinking of this Robin Williams routine about, reach around the back of your TV set. You're going to feel the power of comedy as it knocks your ass across the room.
Yeah, we listen to WLS out of Chicago, which it was the Rock of Chicago back in from the 50s on. Once upon a time, it used to be a country station, and they would broadcast a signal coming from WSM to do the Grand Ole Opry. Then when WSM said, WLS turned around and they started their own called the WLS Barn Dance, which it got pretty popular for the Midwest, and it wasn't big competition against the Grand Ole Opry by any means. But I think through about the 50s, maybe late 50s, early 60s, it did quite well. But they turned rock and roll, and I mean to tell you, that was the biggest thing around here. The 50,000 watt blowtorch that they had, and we heard it coming up from Cherokee, North Carolina. I know I started hearing WLS off and on, depending on where you were at, going through down the Blue Ridge Parkway in the higher elevations. But
I could hear
right around St. Louis,
I could hear
constantly
WLS late at night on my little AM radio.
I'm on a Mexican radio.
I had thought of that one earlier, but I wasn't going to try and sing because I know I sound like Kermit the Frog.
Matter of fact, I'm friends with the rock jock legend
radio.
John Records Landecker, the one where he says, "Records is truly my middle name," and it is. And he was the big time jockey for WLS. Did the
was that the one in Terre Haute?
No, WLS out of Chicago.
Okay, there were two stations I could get on the AM radio. One of them was out of Chicago, WLS, and then there was another one out of Terre Haute, Indiana. And
the only one I know of theirs is WTHI, which I believe that was country.
No, this was pop rock and whatnot. So it would have been in direct competition with WLS, but
so AM Radio Gold.
One of them had the King Biscuit Flour Hour on Saturday nights.
Now, we listened to the King Biscuit Flour Hour out of Champaign, which I know it was syndicated, but...
Yep. But I got to hear a Rick Wakeman concert. I got to hear, let's see, what was it? One of the bands that were playing along around with the Allman Brothers and their Southern rock crowd.
Nice, John. Allman Brothers.
No. This was
rhythm section.
Marshall Tucker. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew it would come to me if I just let my brain go into gear rather than grinding gears.
I was trying to jog your memory by giving you.
Yeah, I know. And thank you, because sometimes it needs not only a jog but a good kickstart. It was amazing the kind of stuff that you would hear on late night AM radio.
Well, before COVID reared its ugly head, I got to see Great White with Molly Hatchet. And this was...
It ain't for everybody.
No. Now,
you get that reference, Chris?
Believe it or not, I used to date a girl that danced in front of Molly Hatchet on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And she hated him, but, it was a gig.
Yeah. Hey, she got to travel the country and she got paid for it. You can't beat that.
I think she kind of pretty much was only with them when they were doing stuff in Florida. I don't think she traveled with them.
Okay.
But she didn't sing with them or anything like.
Oh no. She was strictly dancing, and she didn't go backstage, and she made sure she was never on the tour bus.
The only thing
It's
that
not
I
like
didn't-
Susie Cream Cheese, you know.
What was the woman's name that sang on Jim Dandy? Trying to think.
Oh,
Big
Lord.
red afro hair.
Had a voice that would not quit. I mean,
Oh yeah. And sadly,
Lord.
she's passed away a while back.
Yeah,
But
that's what I heard. I can't remember her name.
I know.
Is
I
she the
can't
one that
either.
sang that song "More, More, More"?
Well, that's Andrea True Connection.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't know if it was her because I thought she had big hair. If I remember.
well, they actually considered her a part of the band
Mhm.
because I know my brother had the album that Jim Dandy was on, and you know they're on the back cover or on the liner notes. I forget which.
Was that Black
There
Oak
was
Arkansas?
yes. Hmm.
Okay.
There was pictures of her in the liner notes, and they credited her for backing vocals.
Ruby Star.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank
And
you
she
for
died of
everything,
cancer.
Ruby.
She died of cancer back in 95.
Hmm.
Great loss.
Yep, Ruby Star.
Yep.
When you have one of those voices, people need to pay attention.
I almost bought the DVD at Barnes and Noble today of the Linda Ronstadt documentary, The Sound of My Voice. I keep hearing really good things about that documentary.
Oh, okay. This is sideways. I went out to get a beer earlier tonight during another show online, and Lindsay was watching a video of Meatloaf from Paradise by the Dashboard Light, and I going, why can't I ever remember that woman's name? I mean,
Ellen Foley.
Ellen. Yes, thank
Uh-huh.
you.
She was
I
the first DA on Night Court.
Yep.
The one opposite Dan Fielding. She did the other attorney, the prosecutor, before.
Yeah, I think she was
yes.
Before
public.
Dan Fielding, yeah.
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 Well, I thought Dan was the public attorney or the district attorney. She was the public.
He was
right?
She was
he
public
the
attorney.
Yeah, he was the prosecutor.
Yeah.
So the
But yeah, she had the role before Marky Post joined
Marky
the cast.
Post.
Marky. And we just lost her too.
Yep.
And Night Court's coming back, and there was somebody going, "Oh well, this is a chance to redeem Dan Fielding's character," and other people were pointing out, no, by the end of the series, he'd pretty much been redeemed.
Yeah.
They gave him an awful lot of character development over the years.
Oh yeah.
I liked it when the midget who had the hot niece was messing with Dan Fielding, and he was having to ignore her, and she was tempting him.
Oh,
those were hilarious episodes.
Oh, I liked it when the guy that was in the comedy contest with the judge before the show. That was the prize in this comedy contest, was to get to star on a TV show. Was it
Star Search?
I'm not sure. It was one of those really, really early ones, but it was a comedy thing entirely. And there was one guy that was a ventriloquist that came in second. And then the judge came in first. And he got the part, but they actually brought in the ventriloquist as a guest starring, well, as a guest on the show, as a somebody that was standing in front of the bench. And then you have several episodes with Brent Spiner on there with
he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Dang, Kiri.
So out of character.
42 flipping hours straight.
No kidding.
Hey,
Let,
He's
30,
in training.
30-something is all I can manage before the hallucinations set in.
yeah, no kidding. Let me throw a bit of news out here for you guys, just so you. Okay.
Oh, Lord, this is going to be good.
Back in 1976, Randy Bachman,
Yes.
who
Oh,
was a
sounds
guitarist for Guess Who and later Bachman Turner Overdrive,
Mm-hmm.
had his 1957 Gresh 6120 Chet Atkins guitar was stolen from a Toronto hotel where he was playing a gig. They were playing a gig up that area.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the guitar that he had written great songs on, like American Woman and Taking Care of Business. Okay. Now, the guitar was stolen. And strangely enough, this one guy who is, he makes his living basically, or it's his hobby to solve mysteries. And this guy's been working on like the D.B. Cooper disappearance.
Yeah.
Okay, and stuff like this. Well, he was bored and he needed something to do during COVID because he was locked into his house and, needed something to do. So he started looking into this mystery about what happened to the guitar. So he went on the internet and found pictures of every orange Gresh guitar that was on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And he compared them he took a video where Randy Bachman was playing the guitar.
Yeah.
On stage in this concert, and he digitally enhanced it, looked at it. It turns out there was a distinctive wood grain pattern on the guitar.
Yes, there would be. Yes.
Okay. So he starts looking at all these pictures of anybody that's posted a picture of an orange Gresh guitar. Okay. Turns out there's a guy in Tokyo, Japan that bought this orange Gresh guitar. He's a musician in Japan. And there's a video of him playing this guitar, or several videos actually, on this TV show that he's a guest star or whatever on. And he started looking, and strangely enough, same wood pattern. So he contacts Randy Bachman and said that's the hardest part about finding the guitar was actually getting in touch with Randy Bachman to tell him, hey, I think I found your guitar. So he finally gets in touch with Randy Bachman, tells him what he's done, shows him the evidence and stuff like that. And turns out Randy Bachman's got a daughter-in-law that's Japanese living in Japan.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So they get this Zoom meeting going, and the guy that has the guitar in Japan doesn't speak English. So he's got his daughter-in-law translating for this Zoom meeting about it. And sure enough, the guy, it says, I'm sure it's your guitar. It says, but I love this guitar. Says, I'll give it back to you if you can find me a replacement for it. If you can find me this guitar's sister, I'll give you this guitar. We'll switch guitars. Okay. Well, it turns out, now here's what's funny. Randy Bachman is a Gresh fan. So he has literally, over the last 50 years, okay, he's owned over 300 Gresh guitars. And he donated most of the ones he owns to the Gresh family for their museum of all the Gresh guitars. Yeah. Okay. So he knows everybody in the Gresh guitar community, basically. Okay. Turns out he found a shop that has an orange Gresh guitar just like the one that was stolen from him. And it turns out by the serial numbers on the guitars, this guitar was made on the same day his guitar was made.
Wow.
Okay, that's okay. So now all they got to do is like get together in Tokyo and switch the guitars out. So it's kind of a cool thing.
As long as they don't send Johnny Depp to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that old TV series. He had to rescue B.B. King's guitar. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
What was the name of that damn series?
21 Jump Street?
Oh, yes, thank
you. Speaking of celebrity news, Angela Lansbury turned 96 Saturday.
Wow.
Ooh.
Did they ever
Betty
did they
White
ever
is
figure
only
out
about 3 months old from being 100.
did they ever figure out that she's a mass murderer?
I don't know.
Okay. Because let's face it, if you ever watched the series Murder, She Wrote,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the one common denominator between all of those murders was Angela Lansbury.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever
And,
she
and
went,
she
somebody
wrote
died.
she wrote the murder mystery books to cover up the fact that she was the murderer. She always had put somebody else's name at the top of it. So
How many times can you get away with the butler did it?
hey, she lived. What was the name of that town? Cabot Cove.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cabot Cove had the highest murder rate per capita of any city on the planet.
50,000
Thanks to
people.
Angela Lansbury.
Actually, that's not
50,000
true.
people more than lived in that town died in that town.
There was a movie about another place that had more, but they were deemed accidents.
No, Cabot Cove
Hot
had
fudge.
Cabot Cove had like a population of 550 people and 750 casualties. They had to import murder victims.
Of course.
It's a tourist trap.
Tourists are for. Yeah, the tourist trap. Yeah, that couldn't have put it any better.
Tourist trap.
You could do a movie about that.
Do you remember the movie Hot Fuzz though, where all those murders happened and they were all accidents?
Oh Lord. Yeah.
Horse head bookends. Okay.
I read something online today where somebody was calling that Betty White be wrapped up in bubble wrap and protected by the FBI and the CIA, make sure nothing happened to her. And I go, wait a minute.
Heck, she could wrap up the CIA and the FBI in bubble wrap and probably keep them safe.
They was doing that with George Burns when he was up there.
No matter what they do.
Oh, I'm trying to. There was
I'm glad you had a nap.
There's going to be Keith Richards and Willie Nelson heading her way with a sword in one hand because there can only be one.
There can only be one.
Ace, that's awesome.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Woo!
That thing's going to be worth some money. I mean, it's already worth some, but it's going to be worth a lot more.
I'll be right back.
George Burns, I can't remember the name of the casino out there in Los Angeles or the Las Vegas, that on his 100th birthday, they signed him for a 20-year contract to appear on stage.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like, talk about telling somebody you got a lot of faith in them.
And I can imagine what his response would have been. I would love to have heard it.
He was probably excited about it. Because he got to where he, after he got to a certain age, he's like, hell, I'm happy I'm having another birthday. He got excited about it. He was celebrating it.
Oh.
It's bad when he used to do commercials for Oldsmobile, and he said they were good kids because he was actually older than the automobile company. My favorite joke by George Burns, and he told this one. He did well. He's got two jokes I like, but this one is probably my favorite. He's sitting on stage, and he's always got the cigar. And he takes a break in the middle of his comedy routine, lights a cigar, takes a puff on it, looks at the cigar and goes, says, I went to get a physical. My doctor says, my doctor told me I needed to quit smoking cigars. Takes another puff on the cigar. And goes, he died 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yep.
If you ever want to read a good biography, read the George Burns biography called Gracie that come out in, I want to say, late 80s, like 87, 88. And that is the most enduring. You think, oh, it's all about Gracie Allen. Well, no, it's all about the two of them.
right.
But it is the most enduring book I've ever read, biography or not,
Well, she was an endearing person anyway.
Oh yes, good Lord.
I remember him. Hey, who's this
Jody.
person?
Jody.
Joe knows all these people, and I get to see from the desk of small press, but I don't know who this is. But
Jody.
But hi again. Yeah, Joe never introduces me to these people. He just throws them on the show, and like everybody knows who that is.
Mhm.
Well, I've had to play catch up with a few of them myself, but
And when we get to the convention, I am going to have to beat Joe about that head and ears. I need to make up a list of stuff I need to beat him for. Just, hey Joe, item number 1. You need to introduce me to all these people on the damn show. Okay.
Well, I'll introduce you to anybody that I know of that you need me to introduce you to.
Yeah, I remember when Joe was first introducing me to you on this show, he says, "Yeah, Chris." I said, well, that helps. It's like saying John.
Well, I've been to so many. In fact, I actually asked you to take a picture of one of your Monty Python shirts years ago.
You did?
Yep. It was at Liberty, I believe.
You know what's funny? That shirt's sitting in the dryer right now.
Hope it's not on high.
I mean, I didn't know who you were at the time. I mean, I knew of you. I seen you around.
It's Joe Mystery Guest Show.
Yeah.
Hey, Carrie, how you doing?
How's it going?
It's going.
We're awake.
Yeah, I guess I'm awake right now after spending so much time awake, and I'm just now waking up from a pretty long slumber.
I woke up this morning about 7. I said, looked around for a second. It's still dark outside. I'm like, nope. Went back to bed. Woke up about 10:30. And
So instead of Carrie Blood, instead of Carrie Blood Rose, we're going to have to call you Carrie Van Winkle.
We were talking about George Burns and Gracie Allen. I remember George Burns was on 60 Minutes. They did a special on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually went out to the Hollywood
Walk of Fame?
No, the cemetery.
Cemetery.
Woodlawn Cemetery, I think.
Woodlawn, I do believe is the
Yeah.
name of it. Yeah.
And he goes out to the mausoleum, and he took flowers, took roses out to her, and he basically every day took flowers out to her mausoleum, and it shows him out there and says, "Here's Gracie, here's where she's resting," and all. And he changed out the flowers and all that, and love you, honey, and and it's watching him, just how much he cared about her and stuff like that, just really gotcha. I cut my own hair all the time. Of course, I cut it down to nothing, so that helps.
I don't cut any of my hair above the eyebrows. I get the rest of it professionally done. But there was a time when my mom went at me with an electric razor, and I'm going, ah! But,
of course, in the Army, got stuck in the desert for a while, and there was no place to go get your hair cut. So I wound up getting a pair of clippers and just sitting there at a little piece of mirror and did my own hair. Yeah. And apparently I did such a good job at the time that everybody said, "Hey, can you give me a haircut?" So I wound up going from sergeant to barber for about 3 days. And almost wore out a pair of clippers.
Dang.
They can be sharpened.
They can.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy, but you can.
Actually, it's not as hard as you think it is. I just had to take it down the motor pool and hit it with a grinder.
Oh yeah.
Well, no. It was a bench grinder mounted on a truck. So
okay. Not an angle grinder. Okay.
Gary,
no, not an angle grinder.
From the staff meeting.
Maybe I may be able to make it to the convention as well. I've got the tickets, and
I finally pulled the trigger and went and got my pre-registration. And tomorrow I'm gonna sign up for a hotel room. So
Are
Good
you
deal.
still going to be working security, or are you just going as an
I
ordinary
don't.
Joe?
Apparently, I paid $60. I don't know if I'm working security or not. So
No, with Joe Dog, he'll put your ass to work.
not likely. I'm cooking chili.
Aren't we all? Everybody that comes to HallowCon has to cook chili.
Well, I asked Joe. I said, "So are we doing this in like the main area?" He said, "Y'all doing it in a room party?" I said, "Room party?" He says, "Yeah, what y'all do in y'all's rooms? Your own damn business."
I think that's the main reason I've got to get a room is just someplace to keep the crock pot. So.
Oh, and like I
Well-
said earlier, I may actually just go and buy another one so I don't have to take Lindsay's with me.
I told
Well,
you
at
I'll bring.
$11.99,
I've got
you can't
I've
eat
got
it.
2 large crock pots. I can bring you one.
The oval ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, as long as you don't forget, I'm good. I'll be good to go. I'll have everything ready to throw in there and hit the heat.
It might be cheating though. That older crock pot probably already tastes like chili. So.
I'll
You probably just pour a gallon of water in there and make chili.
I'll take every advantage I can get. I'm not trying to win the hottest chili contest.
Me,
You'll
hey,
never be as old as George Burns if you keep doing that to your chili.
I went and bought 2 pounds of sirloin for my chili. Ground sirloin. It's sitting out in the damn freezer.
Oh my
Sure.
God.
I've got a pile. My chili pepper bush has been doing excellent. I've got a pile of chili peppers in my kitchen right now.
I'm going to have to raid my pickle pepper jar, and I'm going to have to be very, very careful not to get any of the,
Really
shall we say, more advanced of the flame throwing chilies.
I don't make hot chili. It's kind of funny.
I don't either. I don't like it very hot. I don't like it extremely hot, but I do like the.
I like chili you can actually taste without scalding your tongue.
I like the extra flavors that different sorts of peppers can give to it without setting your mouth on fire. Now, and I get the feeling that Josh is going to be one of those where you're going to be in competition with SpaceX and Blue Origin for who's going to achieve orbit from the hottest chili.
I don't know if Josh is coming.
Well-
I don't think he is
Oh,
the way he's talking
his
because
gallbladder problem is going to prevent him from showing up.
Originally it was issue of his wife not being able to get the days off, and he's unable to drive himself, of course, because of a illness that he has, which I won't speak of. But the gallbladder thing, I think, kind of sealed the deal.
We
I
have
think he's
Jody McPhee in the room.
Yep.
Hello.
Hey,
Really?
Joe.
I don't think I've ever made chili with red onions. I may have to modify my ingredient.
Now,
That does sound good.
I have heard people swear that Vidalia is the only onion you should use in chili, and I'm going, y'all are from Georgia, ain't you?
Yeah. I usually use sweet yellow onions, sometimes a white onion. But
Yep.
Sweet yellow or Vidalia onions.
Yep. Although you can't call them Vidalia unless they come from Vidalia.
There are 37 counties which are officially allowed to call themselves Vidalia onions.
Really? I thought it was just the one county.
Well, there's 159 in Georgia, so 37 is still a small. The only state that has more counties than Georgia is Texas, and they have 259 counties. The reason why Georgia has 159 counties is because it was decreed that everybody should be able to travel within 1 day's horse ride to the courthouse. So that's why there's 159 counties in Georgia.
Cool.
And Atlanta fucked all that up.
Did you know that
You
there
try
are?
going on 285 with a horse, you ain't getting nowhere.
Did you know that there are no counties in Louisiana?
They're
They're
parishes.
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 That's not the only one, isn't it?
Parish of thought.
No, wait. No, I'm thinking of commonwealths.
Yeah,
Ah.
there's 4 commonwealths in the.
Now, is there
They're
a
not
difference?
states, they're commonwealths, yes.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between a parish and a county, or
A county is supposedly ruled by a count. It's where the
Interesting.
term comes from in England.
Blah, blah.
Blah blah.
Parish is usually referred
Say
to.
goodnight, Gracie.
Oh yeah, she was a pretty woman
Yep.
Oh,
and funny. Gosh,
A parish is what was the term? It's kind of a French aristocracy thing that has to do with churches.
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
It's kind of like you had a county seat in a county. We had a parish seat, which was, instead of being a courthouse, it was more of the church house.
Yes.
So it's kind of religiously
Yeah.
based.
And the French who settled the area originally, other than the indigenous people there already, were very devout Catholics.
Yep.
Unless you happen to be a Huguenot, which was a Protestant.
That goes
Then
all the way back to the Louisiana Purchase, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, we
Which
bought
was
this
a
France.
long time ago.
They had this group of French religious people that left France and moved to Canada. And they started a colony in Canada, but because they were religious, nobody in Canada liked them and kicked them out. So they sailed all the way around the United States and wound up landing in the New Orleans area. Several ships.
Why? Very wisely, they skipped Florida entirely.
And
The
apparently,
Spaniards were already there.
up in Canada, they were known as Caitians, which I believe was the religious group. After they got kicked out and went to France, they were the new Caitians, which apparently somehow or another got changed to Arcatians. So they went from Arcadia to Cajuns, and
By the time they got to Louisiana, it was Cajun.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yep.
And apparently they were in so much trouble that they would eat anything that crawled or moved.
ew?
Alligators, crawfish, snakes.
Crayfish, shrimp.
Yeah, it just did anything they could find in the swamp, they'd eat it. So
when you pour,
they still do. That's
anything you can catch or anything you can grow.
anything that didn't bite them first.
What kind of shrimp, Bubba?
Did.
Tell us, Bubba, what kind of shrimp?
The
Shrimp
jumbo.
stew, shrimp
I just-
salad.
I just hope they haven't been eating like somebody who just walks into their home or anything like that.
No.
Yeah.
That's the voodoo.
That's voodoo. Yeah, that's not cuisine.
That's
That's a religion. Okay.
That's a sect that started out in Haiti.
Yep. Well, Haiti.
Well, I mean before that, but they're well known.
Yeah.
Was it in Canada? They're known as Arcadians, and then
Yep.
and then somehow or another they wound up getting kicked out and went to Louisiana and got called Cajuns.
Yeah.
And
There's
the reason why we bought Louisiana Purchase from the French is because Napoleon was trying to finance his war in Europe. So they sold it for $15 million,
Wow.
which was a lot of money back then in 1803.
but it went from Mississippi to California, so that was a pretty fucking good deal.
Yeah. We virtually tripled the size of the country at the time.
Literally, what we bought from France was 2/3 of what America is now.
The continental U.S.
Right.
The only bigger thing was Alaska.
Yep. and we paid $7.5 million for Alaska.
From
Worth
Russia.
every penny.
More than paid for itself.
Worth every damn penny. I
It-
don't
Boy, did
care.
we
That's
screw our
right.
Nicholas on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was referred to as Seward's icebox because William Seward, I think, was the Secretary of State at the time who arranged the deal.
And his
But the
critics
idea-
referred to it as Seward's Folly.
Yes.
Do you remember a few years back
And then there was gold there.
The,
Who did not get?
the media started giving Trump a lot of crap because he put out feelers about trying to buy Greenland? You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Which is actually a brilliant damn idea. But strange enough, what was it? Sweden owns Greenland?
Denmark.
Yep.
Denmark owns Greenland.
Denmark.
That's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Sorry.
One of the Scandinavian countries. I couldn't remember which one.
Hey, there's only 4.
Well, it only gives you a 25% chance, don't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. But I can remember the news, they just hated Trump. So they were like, oh, what an idiot wants to buy Greenland. I'm like, that's not a dumb idea.
Well,
If they sell it, it's.
technically it's not. It would be an amazing resource.
We're closer to it than Denmark is.
Yep.
Yeah, but so's Canada.
Yeah.
Boy, you want to talk about military bases and piss off the Soviets.
Oh, come on. We already have military bases in Greenland.
Strangely enough, we just got 4 more in Greece. Did you hear about that one?
No.
No.
Greece just recently signed a pact with the United States, like last week, extending our commitment in NATO in Greece indefinitely.
Oh, wow.
Because they're worried
And
about Turks.
they're giving the United States access to 4 bases that we did not have access to previously.
Yeah.
So we're going to basically be setting up 4 new bases in Greece.
So now
They're worried about the Turks.
Moscow is within UPS distance of being able to be sent a nuclear bomb. Collect on delivery.
I don't think Moscow's as big as a problem as it once was.
Well, nothing really is, although everybody seems to think so. Even China's not as big a problem as people make out. They've got their own stuff they're going through. Give them 50 years, they're going to be totally underpopulated. Given their present policies,
It depends on how much territory they acquire between now and then.
it won't matter if they've only got one person for every 500 cubic miles.
They are allowing farmers to have 2 children now.
Oh, like that's going to really help.
It depends.
They keep killing everybody off that can do anything. I mean, anybody with a brain is automatically counter-revolutionary and shot.
What was it? Just recently, they did something that was really crazy about. They'd been letting the business people expand their businesses, and all of a sudden it said, this goes against our communist ideas. You need to give us more money, and basically shut down a lot of businessmen. So.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. We're not supposed to talk politics on this show.
I'm trying to
Dan, see
remember.
what you started.
I'm trying to remember where communism involves money.
That's the only reason why they haven't failed yet.
Because they're not sticking to the actual plan.
There's no such thing as communism on this planet. It all turns into totalitarianism the second they say communism. So.
What would have happened if we didn't buy Alaska and the Russians kept it as part of the Soviet Union?
The Cold War would have gotten a lot warmer.
Yep, and Canada would have devoted a whole lot more to civil defense, and the Canadian Army and the Air Force would be much bigger.
I figure 6 more aircraft carriers, just conservatively. So.
Could have been, yeah. And really, there might have been a lot of archaeological stuff that we never know about.
In World War II, the Japanese took over the Buna Islands. I don't know if you ever heard about any of this. It's kind of a footnote in World War II.
That's in the Aleutian chain, isn't it?
No, Buna.
No?
That's down in the Indonesian area.
Oh, Indonesia. I'm sorry.
But it's where all the rubber at the time came from.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When the Japanese took it over, the United States were just like, oh, what are we going to do for tires? Fan belts and fun stuff like that.
Polyester.
So they wound up going to any of the islands that were down in that neck of the woods that still had rubber and getting as much of it as they could. And there was actually a major long-term battle on the Buna Islands trying to recover them just to get the rubber plantations and such back.
Mm-hmm.
And after World War II and all through World War II and after World War II, the United States had a strategic rubber supply in Alaska. They went up to Alaska, found this old mine, and they would stockpile these blocks of raw rubber, which is white, by the way, for those of you who don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And would stockpile it in this mine. And it was an old coal mine up in Alaska, but it was below freezing. It was always below freezing there. So they froze all the rubber. And they only, like in the last, I want to say the last 25 years, actually started releasing the strategic rubber supply. And I had a friend who worked at Firestone. He said they would get these train loads of stuff that was coming in from Alaska that was still, it was frozen. The whole train car was just full of the stuff, frozen solid. And they had to pull it out, and they had to set it out where it would thaw out because the stuff had been frozen for so darn long.
Is there some kind of agricultural bottleneck that would keep rubber trees from growing anywhere else, like South America or something?
Henry Ford actually started a city in South America just for trying to grow rubber trees, and it failed abysmally. The trees didn't take.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still, if you go down to this, I can't remember where it is in South America.
Fordlandia.
I think that's what it's called. Something like it's got a.
Mm-hmm.
But the city, the ruins of the city is still there, and the city that they built down there had everything. It had the hospital and schools and.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was something in the soil in the South Pacific that would grow rubber trees that you couldn't find in other areas of the world.
Well, Ford was such good friends and camping buddies with John Burroughs and Harvey Firestone and Thomas Edison. I'm surprised between the four of them they couldn't come up with something.
Fordlandia was in Brazil.
Yeah, I feel
Brazil, yeah.
And the rubber plantations that he was getting the stuff from were in the East Indies, and he wound up getting 70,000 seedlings.
So there must be something in the soil there that the plants need that they can't get elsewhere.
Well, I think they still do have some rubber trees in Brazil. They
do. It just doesn't work
many a
right.
concentration.
Well,
I'll be right back.
Sorry, just trying to analyze the problem here.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's no big deal. I was just thinking that because Brazil does export some rubber. It's just it probably wasn't in that area, and they probably found other areas that were more conducive to growing the trees and developing the industry.
Mm-hmm. That is my signal to get the other room fired up. And
You think? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring this up real quick. Let me see if I can do that. All right. If you haven't signed up for HallowCon yet,
It's too late.
You're too late. You're screwed. You can't have anything. Okay. Yeah. No candy for you. No soup. No soup for you. Okay. Go to that website. Get your badge, and then the room registration thing. All the information for registering for a room is there. I'm guilty. I haven't done it yet. I've got my badge supposedly. Joe's working on them right now as we speak, and I need to go get my room, which is in there too. And so,
Definitely. Everybody that intends to go to HallowCon, you need to make your room reservations. And if you haven't got your badge yet, it's a little late.
and bring your pets at AC because we're having a chili cook-off.
You can probably apply for a badge, but you won't get it pre-printed out.
I don't know. As long as it's taking Joe to get it figured out, you may get it.
All right. Ace, Kiri, you need to invite to Last Man Standing, or are you ready to go take another nap?
I might be up a little while, but I'll join when I can.
I'm just trying to figure out whether or not I've got you where I can send you a link. Have I got
Just
you
put
on
it in private chat.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good idea. I never thought of that. Thank you.
Can you see private chat? I don't know if he
he can.
Yeah,
we can see private chat
missed
because
it.
we have admin rights. I don't know if he can see
I can
private.
see it, and I
I
don't
can
have
see it.
admin rights.
I thought you had admin rights, Chris.
No, I don't have admin rights.
Darn.
Yeah, but Kiri answered a question in the private chat, so he has access to the private chat.
Okay.
Oh,
Lord.
empirical evidence trumps theory. Yeah.
You know, we didn't have a HallowCon last year. Okay.
Well, we had a pretty good
We had a
virtual one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Joe it's kind of funny. Joe's like, I have enough trouble trying to remember how to do this every year, but I haven't done this for 2 years. So he can't remember how to do the badges. Okay. So he actually had to go and download new software just to do the badges.
Mm.
There you
Well, now I can give him my my panel planning program for Excel, which he will never use because I know Joe. It worked really well for an Acrocon. People really liked it for 2 years.
To decide.
Guys, we got 1 minute left. So
Yep.
anybody got to say anything? Say it quick. I'd like to thank all.
Good night, everybody.
Wait a minute. Let me see these. Okay. Yes, we know about that. From the desk of the small press publisher. So go visit his stuff. So
Yeah.
do
Jody
the thing
McPhee is
at the place.
awesome.
Yeah. Do the thing at the place for the people. Yeah.
Yeah. Jody
And then
is a
let's
great
see.
guy.
Kiri does all sorts of interesting stuff. So go visit Kiri Blood Rose's stuff too. So, yes, Joe left me in charge. Didn't tell me how to be in charge. So
I wondered where he was at today.
he was here for a while, but like I said, he's got to go do the badges. And that's why he disappeared on me.
Trying to print that up.
All right. Say goodnight, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Let's see. I got to find this darn thing. Let's see.
Now we're going to go touch the face of God.
We got to do that too.
High five.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. sunward I've climbed, and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.